Hey guys, it's Nailbiter, and I've got another Battlefield 3 commentary here for you guys. Although before I get into it, I just want to explain this video first, just because I had the idea that I might start this series, and I mean it's not really a series, but it's something that I thought people might be interested in, so I'm going to try it out for a few videos and see what people think. But basically what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be playing the recon class and using different setups with the class and different tactics and different strategies. Because I think the recon class is a pretty underused class in Battlefield 3, and it's also pretty underrepresented on YouTube in general. And so I thought people might be interested in seeing just some gameplay from the recon class and just using some of the different guns and some of the different setups and trying out some new strategies that, you know, people might not think to use at first. And I also wanted to talk about ways to improve your sniping because, you know, I personally find sniping to be a lot of fun. And it's something that I've done a fair amount of in BF3. I haven't actually uploaded very much gameplay with it, but I thought I could give people tips about how to improve as a sniper. So anyways, in this video I probably won't be talking too much about tips, but I wanted to start out talking about my favorite class setup when I'm using the recon class, and that's the SV98 with a 7x scope, and I think the pistol that you'll see me using in all these clips is the G18 suppressed, although recently I've started using the Magnum quite a bit, and I actually like that pistol a lot too. I think it works pretty well with the recon class. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that setup, and obviously the gameplay that you're going to be seeing in this video is just me using that setup and getting some decent shots, some decent kill streaks. And I actually think in a second here you're going to see me snipe a guy out of a Jeep, which I thought was pretty cool. But anyways, so back to this setup, and as I said, this is my favorite setup when I'm using the recon class. And first of all, I'll talk about the gun, the SV98. And I mean, I don't think there's a huge difference between all of the bolt actions. I'd say the biggest difference that I notice really between any of them at all is just the fact that the M98 only has 6 bullets in a clip, whereas the other bolt actions all have 11 bullets in a clip. But you know, that's really the biggest difference that I noticed. The only other thing other than that that is really noticeable is the way they reload. And I mean, it doesn't really affect you that much, but for me, I just personally like the feel of the SV98 the most. It kind of feels the lightest, I think, to me, and I know it has the exact same stats as the M40, but I don't like, I mean, it sounds kind of funny, but I don't like the way the M40 reloads. I'm more comfortable, I guess, using the SV98, so that's why it's my favorite weapon. There's really no, I mean, since the guns are fairly similar, there isn't really any distinct reason for me really liking this gun and preferring that, but I mean that's just, those are I guess a couple of reasons as to why that's kind of what I generally use or what I generally go with. And so I did want to talk a little bit about using the 7x scope because you know, I don't think you don't see that many people using that, or at least I mean you don't really see people using bolt action snipers that much in general, but I think people tend to either use the 8x scope or the 12x scope when they're using a bolt action sniper rifle. And for me, I go kind of back and forth between using the 8x and the 7x, and it kind of depends on the map and how aggressive I want to be playing. I think the 7x is better for playing a little more aggressively because it's going to be easier to kill people at sort of closer to medium ranges, which you see me do a little bit of in this gameplay. Whereas the 8x scope is, I mean, it's still a pretty balanced scope, but it's going to give you a little more range, and so it's better for some of those maps that are a little more wide open. And so for Strike at Karkan, which is I think what the majority of this gameplay in the video, the gameplay in this video that you're going to see is the majority of it's going to be on Strike at Karkand, and I think the other clip I have in here is from Sun Crossing. So both of those maps are pretty small and pretty compact with lots of buildings, and so I thought the 7x would be best in that situation. And you know, like I said, the only real reason that I would choose go between the 7x and 8x is depending on the map. So I like both of them. I think they both work pretty well. I don't like using the ballistic scope, the 12x scope, because I think it restricts you too much to only long range encounters, and it makes it a little harder to aim really quickly and really accurately at close ranges. So generally speaking, I'm going to be using the 7x or 8x scope, and I did actually try using the ACOG scope on a sniper rifle, but honestly I think your best bet if you're going to be using a bolt action sniper rifle is just to stick to the 7x or the 8x scope. So that's what I'd recommend. In terms of secondaries, when you're playing the recon class, and especially when you're using a bolt action sniper rifle, what I generally try to do is I try to use a secondary that's really good at pretty close range. And so that's why in this video you're going to see me using the G18 suppressed, and you know, I think that's a pretty solid pistol to use when you're sniping. And the reason I use suppressed is because as a sniper, if people get really close to you, if you have to deal with more than one person at close range, it's going to be really difficult to take them out. So if you can keep yourself off the radar when you do shoot your pistol, then I think that's going to be really beneficial to you if you're using a bolt-action sniper rifle. And as I mentioned earlier, I've also been using the Magnum a little bit more recently. And the nice thing about the Magnum is it does a lot of damage, so it can finish people off really quickly. And I think that's really nice. It can be really helpful. And it's been buffed recently as well, and I actually heard that it might get buffed again in the next patch that DICE is going to release. So it's definitely a good pistol, and once you get comfortable with the firing, the feel of it, and how it fires, I definitely would recommend using that. I think it works really well in conjunction with sniping. So that's what I'd recommend for a secondary. And I mean, if you have a secondary that you're more comfortable with, I'd by all means use that, because having a secondary that you're comfortable with when you're sniping in particular, with a bolt-action sniper rifle, is going to be really important, because there are going to be situations where you have to rely on that secondary. So the only other thing that I really wanted to touch on in this video about my favorite class setup for the recon class is the specialization that I like to use. And I mean, this isn't really, I mean, this is definitely a sort of personal preference thing, but I just thought I'd talk a little bit about this, because for me, I mean, for the most part, you're going to see me using squad flak, but I think another perk that could be useful when you're playing this type of setup, when you're using a bolt-action sniper rifle, is if you use squad cover, because sniping can be difficult when you're getting suppressed, and so because you have to be so accurate with your shots, and because getting a headshot is really important. And so if you can sort of eliminate, to a certain extent, the amount that you get suppressed when people are shooting at you, that's going to help you out a lot to be able to return fire more accurately, and to help you out in some of those gunfights. So I mean, it's really just personal preference, but that's just a thought I had regarding the specializations. So anyways, this video is just about finished. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and let me know what you think about this idea, this idea for a series. I actually already have a couple of other videos for this series planned, so you will probably be seeing those soon in the next couple weeks. But otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.